Welcome to the Widows Collective, where grief meets hope, healing, and community. I'm Lauren Lentz, grief coach, fellow widow, and the heart behind this space. There is life before loss, and then there is life after. If you're here, it likely means your life has been turned upside down by the death of your person. Maybe you've just found yourself in this new world that feels unrecognizable, or maybe you've been walking it for a while, trying to figure out what healing looks like now. I want you to know you are not alone. This podcast is a gathering place for widows living in the after. Together, we'll name the ache, honor the love, and share tools, truths, and stories that help you feel supported along the way. My hope is that every episode gives you a sense of community, comfort, and permission to meet yourself exactly where you are. Hello, and welcome back to episode 6, The Empty Seat at the Table. If you're listening to this episode as it comes out today, it's Thanksgiving here in the United States, and I personally couldn't think of a stronger representation of the empty seat than a day where everyone gathers around the table to share in love, laughter, memory making, and gratitude for what's in front of them. Days like today can stir up a lot of emotions, so I want to begin this episode with a practice I often use in my group sessions. It serves as an anchor into the present. We pause, take a breath together, and notice what is coming alive for us. The sensations in our bodies, the rhythm of our breath, the space we occupy right now. It's a simple practice, but it reminds us that we're not rushing through grief or skipping over our feelings. We're allowing ourselves to arrive here fully. So before we go any further, I want to offer the same to you. Right now, maybe you're cooking, driving, or home alone this year, choosing quiet instead of company. Wherever you are, take a slow, deep breath in and a long, steady exhale. Notice your body, the weight of your feet on the floor, the rise and fall of your chest, any tension you might be holding, and gently allow it to soften. If it feels right, place a hand over your heart or rest it somewhere comfortable. This is a small but powerful signal to yourself that you are here, you are present, and you are holding space for what matters. See, while friends and family come together to celebrate, we, the grievers, are starkly reminded of who isn't here to share the experiences we long for. It's in these spaces between presence and absence that grief tends to rise to the surface, asking to be acknowledged. These days can feel impossible to get through, and I want you to know that I see you. When Kevin was killed in 2019, it was just 5 days before Thanksgiving. Looking back, it's beyond my comprehension how my family and Kevin's family managed to go into autopilot and celebrate his favorite day. I think we were living on shock and adrenaline, determined to honor a time that had always meant so much to him. We had the turkey, made the gravy and the old fashions, and ate the pecan pie. We sat around the table, sharing stories about Kevin and raising our glasses in his honor. The smells were the same, the table familiar, and yet everything in our lives had changed. Gathered together that day, I don't think it fully sank in that Kevin would no longer be sitting beside me for the rest of my days. Actually, I know that it didn't sink in. It took a long time to make space for that truth and let that sink into my bones and my soul. But that moment, that day, planted a quiet truth that only became clear over time. I would no longer feel his warm embrace or have his hand reach for mine under the table. I wouldn't watch him mixing up his wild magic potions to inject into his fried turkey. I wouldn't hear his laugh fill the room or see the way his eyes softened when he looked at our sons. From that point on, life, especially the holidays, would always hold a deep sense of duality. Thanksgiving, one of the best days of the year, was now also one of the days that most reflected the person missing from the table. And let's be clear, widows don't need a reminder of who isn't here. We live with that empty seat, both literally and figuratively, every single day. I say it as a reminder because it just feels that much sharper this time of year. That empty seat isn't just about a vacant chair. It's a symbol of everything we've lost, everything that's transformed, and everything that still matters deeply to us. For some, it's one person. For others, it's a whole season of life that feels far away now, a home that used to be full, a family that looked different, a tradition that feels too difficult to continue. Grief shows up uniquely for each one of us. Maybe for you, the chair across the table feels like a wound that never quite closes. Or maybe it feels like a quiet presence. You can almost sense them sitting beside you, hear their voice, and see their smile in the flicker of a candle. And both are true. Both are equally sacred. What the empty seat really reveals is love. Love that doesn't go away even when everything else has. It's not just a reminder of who is missing, it's a reflection of the bond that still remains. In today's episode, we're going to explore what that means, how to recognize the ways grief shows up in our bodies, our thoughts, and our hearts, and how to move through this day with gentleness, honesty, and care. As you navigate the empty seat this holiday season, I want to take a couple of minutes to gently name and normalize what might be showing up for you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, because grief doesn't just live in our minds, it shows up in our whole being. So physically, you might notice a tightness in your chest or fatigue or tears that appear without warning that you're afraid may never stop. Maybe your body feels heavy as if it carries the weight of being the memory keeper of every second you shared, or oppositionally, you may feel numb, a protective pause, helping you manage one breath, one step at a time. Grief often lives in our bodies before it reaches our minds. Mentally, your thoughts may feel scattered or foggy. You might find it hard to concentrate, drifting back and forth between sharp clarity and sudden forgetfulness. The mind can replay memories or linger in what ifs. And it's not to torture you, but it's because your brain is trying to make sense of a world that no longer feels the same. Emotionally, loneliness and sadness and anger or guilt may rise up. Maybe you feel uneasy celebrating or notice a pang when others enjoy moments you wish you were sharing with your loved one. And yet, there's also this tenderness too, that quiet ache when the world doesn't seem to notice your loss as acutely as you, or when the empty seat feels invisible to others. Spiritually, you may sense their presence in a whisper, a song, or a feeling of calm, or perhaps you find yourself yearning for a sign, desperate to know they're near. That longing itself is love, searching for proof that connection still exists beyond what you can touch. And in some wildly unexplainable way, it still does. Like energy itself, never lost, only transformed, shifting quietly from one form to another. Even when grief feels heavy or confusing, it's merely a reflection of how deeply you love. Some triggers are going to be obvious, a smell, a sound, a familiar place. Others might be more subtle, a fleeting thought of they should be here. Acknowledging these thoughts as simple messengers that you care is important. You don't need to hold on to them or force meaning. Instead, let them flow freely through you, noticing them without judgment. Once we've given ourselves permission to simply feel, we can start to gently think about ways to bring our loved one's presence into the moments that still matter the most. I remember a widow sister sharing with me one time that the goal isn't just to honor that they died, but also to celebrate that they lived, that they loved, and that they mattered. And that has stuck with me over the last 6 years. Even when their seat is empty, there are ways to carry forward their laughter, their love, and the little traditions that made life feel full. So here are a couple ways that I thought of that you might be able to invite them into your day without feeling like it has to be perfect or all at once. You can tell a story. Ask yourself, what is something about them that made you smile or laugh? And you can also encourage others to join in on the storytelling as well, allowing the warmth of their legacy to continue. You can bake or cook something they loved. This is a simple way to continue to carry them forward, especially when the empty seat feels so apparent. Making their favorite dish, toasting with their favorite drink, or following one of their infamous recipes is a way to keep their essence alive through you. Mark their place at the table. What I have found over the years is one of the grievers' biggest fears is that their person will die twice. And what I mean by that is they die once physically and again when people stop talking about them or acknowledging that they were here. Lighting a candle, setting a photo at their seat, or placing an object that represents them are small yet deeply meaningful gestures. They say, you still matter. You're still part of this. And these acts, they don't erase the pain of their absence, but they gently remind us that love continues to exist right alongside grief. Reflect on traditions. Continuing traditions you once shared with your spouse can feel extremely tender. Some find comfort and peace in keeping them, while others notice it creates a deeper ache or sense of emptiness. There's no right or wrong way to move through this. Ask yourself, which traditions feel meaningful to continue and which ones feel too heavy this year? Are there new rituals I might create in their honor that feel right for me now? Remember, love lives in meaning, not repetition, and the way you choose to honor them this year doesn't have to look like last year or any year before. It just has to feel true to where you are at right now. Lastly, I encourage you to notice the small ways they're still here with you. Maybe it's a memory that pops into your mind, a light you see in your pictures, or a feeling that washes over you, this quiet sense that they're near. Let yourself lean into that as a gentle invitation to remember that connection still exists even in the unseen. And here's the important part. If all this feels like too much, that's okay. If you're not ready to honor them yet and are still deep in mourning, that's okay too. You have full permission to step back, take a breather, or even change the focus. You don't need to do everything or feel everything all at once. Even one small act, lighting a candle, sharing a story, or simply noticing the empty seat is enough. That small gesture honors their life without asking you to carry the weight of it all at once. The empty seat will always leave a void, one that never fully goes away, and yet it's also an invitation to remember, to connect, and to carry forward the life and love that will always be a part of you. Maybe tonight it's a quiet acknowledgement at the table, a laugh, or a small ritual that brings their presence into the moment. Maybe it's a conversation with your person as you settle in for the night, a thank you, a memory, or a promise. Love doesn't end when life does. I'm going to say that again. Love doesn't end when life does. It changes form. Today, that form might look like you showing up for yourself with gentleness and care. Notice the ways their life continues to touch yours, the lessons, the joy, the love that ripples through your family. As Helen Keller so beautifully said, What we have once enjoyed deeply, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us. So these aren't just memories. They are living parts of you. Remember, showing up for yourself doesn't mean doing everything right or feeling everything all at once. Even a single act is enough to honor them today. Thank you so much for showing up here and for listening. If reflecting on the empty seat feels heavy, know that's okay. Feeling all that shows up within you is a part of love and loss, a part of the human experience. In our next episode, I'll share 5 ways to care for yourself through this season, to honor your grief, to protect your energy, and to still show up for the days that matter. Until next time, lots of love and big hugs. You've been listening to the Widows Collective. I'm Lauren Lentz, and it means so much to me that you spent this time here today. If you found comfort or connection in today's episode, I invite you to please subscribe, leave a rating, or share it with someone who might need a little support. You can also follow me on Instagram at I'm Sorry We're Friends and join my email list at laurenlentz.com to explore my one-to-one grief coaching, group program, retreats, and other tools designed to help widows navigate loss with understanding and guidance. I hope you'll join me next week for another conversation where we'll continue exploring grief, healing, and ways to reimagine life after loss. I'm sorry you're here, and I'm so grateful that you are. Thank you for being a part of this community. Your presence is an act of courage and self-compassion, and I'm honored to walk this path alongside you.